So far, we've looked at multiple different ways to factor polynomials, aka rewrite a problem in terms of multiplication. One thing I've emphasized in class is that we should always be looking for a GCF first, but today that's going to be even more important. So we always want to look for a GCF first, and then what we're going to do adding on today is looking at the top of my skinny box and seeing if I can still keep factoring. If it's two terms, I'm going to check and see if I can do the wrap. If it's three terms, can I do X box or do I have a perfect square trinomial? And if it's four terms, I'm going to continue with doing a 2 by 2 box. So looking at this problem, the first thing that I notice is that all of my numbers are even, which means they're divisible by 2. As soon as I see that they're all divisible by 2, I can put them in the skinny box. 2 is my GCF. I can't take out an X because I don't have an X in every single one of my small boxes. So what times 2 would give me 2x squared? X squared. What times 2 gives me negative 12x? Negative 6x. And what times 2 gives me 18? So now what I'm going to do, usually I would just stop at this point if I was doing GCF, but I want to check and see if I can keep on factoring. So I'm going to bring down that 2, because otherwise by the end of this problem you will have forgotten it. And I'm going to try to factor what I have left in these parentheses. Since I have 3 terms left in that parentheses, I'm going to try doing X box. And now I'm only focused on that inside part. I'm not looking at the 2 anymore. It's dead to me. So when we're doing X box, we do A, B, C. So my A is 1, B is negative 6, and C is 9. So first term, first box, x squared. Last term, last box, 9. Multiply those, and that goes at the top of my x. So 9. What two numbers multiply to 9, and b goes at the bottom, and add to negative 6? That would be negative 3, negative 3. And now we're going to factor that out. So I would get x. What times x is x squared? X. What times x is negative 3x? Negative 3. What times x is negative 3x? Negative 3. And notice I actually have the same factor both times. That was actually a perfect square trinomial. But it's pretty much just as fast to have done that with x box. So it's up to you. So we could write it either of those two ways since it's x minus 3 quantity squared. Looking at my next one, what do you notice about my numbers? I notice that all my numbers are divisible by 3. Remember, you can tell things are divisible by 3 by adding the digits and seeing if that number is divisible by 3. Once again, I can't take out a variable because I don't have a variable in that last box. So what times 3, my GCF, will give me 3x squared? Just an x squared. What times 3 gives me negative 27x? Negative 9x. What times 3 gives me 60? 20. So usually I would stop 3 times x squared minus 9x plus 20. But now we're going to learn to see, does this beautiful trinomial keep factoring? But we're going to bring down 3 way down to the bottom so that we don't forget about it. Because I promise, after you've done all this work, you will forget about it. So now I'm focusing on the inside of my parentheses. And my first step for x box is A, B, C. A is 1, B is negative 9, and C is 20. Now we fill our box. First term, first box, x squared. Last term, last box, 20. We multiply that diagonal, x squared times 20 gives me 20. So what two numbers multiply to 20 and add to negative 9? B goes at the bottom. And those two numbers are negative 4 and negative 5. So negative 4x, negative 5x. Now we're going to walk it out. So what's my GCF of my first row? X. What times x is x squared? X. What times x is negative 4x? Negative 4. And what times x is negative 5x? Negative 5. We can always check. Negative 5 times negative 4 does give me positive 20. So x minus 4, x minus 5. Now be honest with me, if I hadn't written that 3 down already, would you have remembered it? Nope. Now I'm trying to change it up on you a little bit with this one. What's the first thing that you notice about these numbers? Hopefully it's that they're even. Okay, even numbers end in 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. So 2, what times 2 gives you 50? 25, and I'm doing a happy dance because that's a perfect square, so maybe it's going to work out for me in the end. And I don't know about you, but maybe you don't have what times 2 is 98, so we could come over here. What we're really doing when we ask that question is dividing. So 49. You could also say that 2 times 50 is 100, and you need to take away one set of 2, so that would be 49 is a way to do that. So I have a GCF of 2 times my top, 25 minus 49x squared. All right, so we're going to bring down our GCF. Now this is 2 terms. So when it's 2 terms, I'm going to check and see if I can do the wrap. So what's the first part of the wrap? If you've got 2 terms, yep. Perfect squares, yep. Subtraction middle, yes. Let's go from there. Put your parentheses, one with a plus, then a subtraction. Yes, you must. Square root of the first, wiki, wiki. Square root of the last, wiki, wiki. Keep them in order and you're done fast. All right, last one. What's something you notice about these numbers? These numbers all end in a 0 or a 5, which means they're divisible by 5. Also, this one we can finally take out a variable because they all have an x, and we take out the lowest exponent, which is just x to the first. So what times 5x is 10x cubed? 2x squared. What times 5x is 25x? 5x. And what times 5x is negative 90x? Well, I know it's negative. And then, once again, if you don't have it memorized, which you probably don't, we're just going to long divide this puppy. 18. Alright, so I get 5x times 2x squared plus 5x minus 18. So I'm going to bring down my 5x, and I'm going to try to factor what's on the inside. So a is 2, b is 5, and c is negative 18. First term, first box, last term, last box. 2x squared, negative 18. Multiply those. 2 times negative 18 is negative 36. And b goes at the bottom, 5. So what two numbers multiply to negative 36 and add to 5? That would be 9 and negative 4. So those two numbers go back in, 9x, negative 4x. So my GCF of my first row is just x. What times x is 2x squared? 2x. What times x is 9x? 9. What times 2x is negative 4x? Negative 2. Double check your last box. Negative 2 times 9 does give you negative 18. And there we go. So factoring completely, check to see if you have a GCF first. Do the skinny box, and then with the top, you're seeing is it the wrap, the difference of squares, or X box.